Never mind.
Are we streaming live? I see it's red.
Yes.
All right. Streaming live on Facebook. Hi, I'm Graham Dodds. I'm the Executive Director of Magic. Welcome to our offices and welcome to 1 Million Cups Westminster. I'm just going to get through a couple slides here for the uninitiated about what 1 Million Cups is all about. So our mission is to lower the barrier for access to entrepreneurship, education, and resources and connections for entrepreneurs. Hey, come on in. How you doing? Without the pillars of the core program, this mission does not get accomplished. And those pillars are, this is about presentations, not pitches, about connection, not networking. Our culture is to be for the community, by the community. Nobody owns 1 Million Cups Westminster. Nobody is being paid to do 1 Million Cups Westminster. And we are radically and intentionally inclusive. Also, we used to be the only 1 Million Cups in Maryland, but now there's also 1 Million Cups in Baltimore in Arbutus. So it is a growing ecosystem of about 170 communities around the country. So our core program is to meet, this is the same with all the other communities in the U.S. We meet every week. It's always Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Presenters' organizations must be less than 5 years old and willing to ask for help. We have 2 presenters whenever possible, and today we're fortunate enough to have 2 presenters, which is great. And we always end with the question, what can we as a community do to help you? We also wouldn't be able to do this without our community sponsors, Jeannie Bird Baking Company, who's right here next door. They provide the baked goods in the back, so please help yourself to those. The coffee is provided courtesy of American Ice Company Cafe, which is also just a block away from here. And then, of course, you are in Magic's offices here, so thank you to Kim, who's our program director, for helping me get this set up, and Gabby Rose, who couldn't be here today. And then also thanks to Rick Leinbach from Startup Portal for being our alternate host location. We tend to trade off, about half the year. We get it for half the year and then Startup Portal. And there may be other locations that we end up trying out as well. This is our organizing team, myself, Chris Abel from the Carroll Technology Innovation Council, Vicki Slinkman from Ting, Jonathan Wheatman, attorney at law, Tina Thomas from Infinite Love Project, Julia Snap from Dirigible Systems, and Gabby Rose also from Magic. So without further ado, let me just switch it over to our first presenter, John Shukurov, right?
Yes.
All right, and with KleenUp, and let's get this going here. Let's get a view, full screen. There you go, John. Come on up and take it away.
Well, thanks everyone for coming. My name is John Shukurov. I go by John. I was born in Uzbekistan in a family of teachers and one of 3 sons. So my journey started by quitting my school to pursue my American dream. And this is how I ended up here in this land. Although little did I know what the fate had in store for me. With your permission, let me take you back to one of the colder nights of 2005 February to the suburbs of Denver, Colorado. I still clearly recall waking up crying in disbelief that slavery still exists nowadays in the most powerful country on the planet, as I found myself entrapped with 11 other people in a trailer park which was poorly furnished. We had barely enough beds for all of us to sleep. A single bathroom which was not working properly, so you can imagine this lingering sewage smell in the hallways. In the living room we had this corner sofa, a small coffee table, a burgundy landline phone with bulky dial pads, and a TV across. With $200 in my pocket, a bag of clothes which literally ripped in JFK, go figure, apparently they throw the luggage. I was completely hopeless about my future as I had no friends and no places to go. So, afraid and anxious, I've still decided to take my chances while I'm in America, right? And this is how I ended up in my now home state, Maryland. Which, funny fact, back then I used to think was called after a powerful wizard, Merlin. From 2005 to 2009, I did pretty much every dirty job possible, which was legal under the sun, to get me from A to B. And in 2009, I've launched my services company, which is called Interworld Cleaning. And back then, I was shocked and paralyzed by the lack of resources available in this country to help out a small startup company like me, who also happens to be an immigrant and also happens to be a cleaner. Fast forward to 2023 now. I'm SBA's Maryland's Minority-Owned Small Business Person of the Year. I'm an author of a book called The Immigrant's Companion, Making Your American Dream a Reality. My services company is on track to hit 1.5 million in ARR by the end of this year. I invest in real estate, both commercial and residential. I'm a loving husband and a father of 2 adorable daughters and 1 little tiny Superman who's 4 months old. For all these 18 years, since I was in this cleaning industry, I've seen its downs and ups, and I've seen it as a cleaner, I've seen it as a consumer, and as a business owner. And I can tell you throughout all of these years what has changed in the industry, and that is precisely nothing. Homeowners are select few lucky ones, 10%, who only can afford cleaning services. Cleaning industry is ineffective, cumbersome, ungreen. Cleaners are unable to get paid vacations, to retire, to travel. I'm not even talking about personal development and working on themselves. So why am I here? I am here because of KleenUp, and that is about to change the industry. And KleenUp is a marketplace for on-demand a la carte services. If you need cleaning services done now and your in-laws are showing up at a short notice and you just need to get that guest bathroom cleaned, you're pretty much out of luck, unless KleenUp is there. So we've identified the struggle and challenges for customers. The industry is expensive, we know that. It's dependent on cleaner's schedule. We know that one size does not fit them all, and it's very limited and word of the mouth right now. Cleaners, they give away 30 to 50% of their income, and we are very limited. We have very limited control of our own working terms and schedule, and we depend on agencies and a single location, usually making us unable to relocate. What we do is we make the cleaning affordable, bring the cost down while paying more for cleaners, simplify and straightforward the order process. A la carte item, a single item or a single room cleaning will now be introduced and will ensure that the right person who you booked will show up at your doorstep. Cleaners will now earn more, we will have full control, we will be independent of a location or agency, and we will set our own schedule. KleenUp, think Uber, just take out the drama and So app for cleaners and homeowners to have full control. How big is the pie? It's $98 billion in the US alone, 20 billion of it being residential. KleenUp targets to aim 10% of it, which is 2%. We did a proprietary survey. According to it, people prefer bi-weekly cleaning services, followed by monthly and then as needed. And cleaning is a sticky business and people don't like to change their cleaners. How do we get profitable? Cleaners, let's start charging $25 as opposed to what they get paid for $15 nowadays. Single item, 3 hours to get the service done, $75, reduces the price for homeowner. Cleaner, instead of $15 getting paid $25. 160,000 bookings will get us to $1 million in commission for KleenUp in one single MSA only, which is in Baltimore Metropolitan. How do we guarantee supply and demand? We already had success. We were able to get 500 cleaners to sign up with 0 ad spend. We will dignify and empower cleaners by leveraging our immigrant stories. We provide them free tools and resources for cleaners, as well as partner with workforce development organizations, 6 minutes, and the unemployment groups or immigrant groups. So we address key pain points. We will be able to allow ASAP cleaning. The persons will be insured, background check. You will know who is there at your doorstep, who is walking in to perform the cleaning, and who we are. That is me and my business partner, who also happens to be from Uzbekistan, passionate about helping immigrants and cleaners. He also happens to be an immigration attorney. Thank you.
So now we open it up to questions. So anybody want to kick us off with a question for John? And go ahead and introduce yourself too when you ask a question.
All right, I'm Steve Lowe from 127 Creative and Carroll Days Challenge. You've got like
8 hours.
18, 20, anyway. That was fantastic. So you've already had quite a bit of success in the cleaning industry, is that right?
Correct.
And now this Uber for cleaners is
Correct.
sort of the new direction.
Yes.
Okay. And Okay, that's my main question. So what has to happen in order, is this all live? You've already got the app, and what has to happen for it?
We are in the process of developing. We need to finish our tech, and then our first MSA will be Baltimore metropolitan area where we will launch. So we need to finish off our tech first.
Do you have like an ETA on that?
Hopefully. The tech partners are not as,
Responsive.
or yes, sometimes it takes a little longer. We're hoping Q4 of this year.
Awesome.
That's what we're shooting for.
Yes, sweet.
And I think there's some potential tech partners here in the room that could help you out.
Absolutely.
Who else has a question or comment?
Yes, any partners.
Yes.
Rick from Starfield.
Hi, Rick.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
As far as your overall market, why Baltimore versus, let's say, DC, where incomes are probably a little higher in DC?
Yeah, absolutely. Baltimore Metropolitan is where we're going to start and test the market because that's where we know most of the cleaners around here and we are able to match in supply and demand to test. But then our next MSA is Washington, DC, as you mentioned. Then we're going to Richmond and Philly. So just 4 MSAs for now in our projections, and our numbers look pretty good.
Is Westminster in Baltimore or DC's MSA? Do we know?
Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Or in Baltimore? Oh, okay. So you will launch including Westminster when you launch.
Why not?
Any other questions for John or comments? Is anyone on Facebook Live? If you're on Facebook and you're watching us live, you can always put your questions or comments in the comments section and Kim will read them out loud.
Yep. Nope. We're good.
So have you considered crowdfunding? Given that you are you're an Uber for the cleaning industry, it sort of seems like it lends itself to what crowdfunding could offer, like the regulation, crowdfunding.
We thought of it, but never put enough energy or time and resources. When you're tiny, you have to be very selective. But if you would like to give us any pointers to be more effective and get further with the amount of limited energy that we have, then absolutely.
Well, Rick would be your
I
guy.
can take an update on that, but I guess, are you looking for investors? Probably the first
Absolutely.
question. So have you had
Wonderful.
investors?
Yes, we Tedco matched us with an advisor,
Okay.
Alondre and Son. He now has, and they're very good friends with Graham. He has 82 patents, and he has helped us tremendously with our projections, and he is our very first investor.
Okay, what do you see Tedco actually investing in you?
We had a call with Jean-Luc. We are going to submit this week or next week because we just needed one more tweak on our page and for the seed round.
Okay.
Yes.
How large is your seed round?
Seed round is up to 200. According to Jean-Luc, $250,000 to $500,000 checks that what they write.
And I guess I would advise getting followers onto that because you've been vetted by Tedco, which is nice.
Thank you. Yes.
Hi, I'm Tiffany.
I did.
I consult with George Bowles. Have you considered entering local business challenges such as the Carol Biz Challenge, which the deadline is today?
59 and 59 seconds.
Well, he's in
Can we-
Catonsville.
We're an Anne Arundel-based company.
Okay, so do they have an Anne Arundel Biz Challenge?
Not that I know
Not yet.
of. Yeah.
Maybe we could organize that.
Absolutely. You've got my building. If you need a footprint.
So I have a question about the cleaning service. So
Yes.
part of what your value proposition is that you're not only improving the margins for everybody and making it more profitable for the cleaners themselves, you're facilitating. Is it actually like a franchise model, or is it really like the Uber model where they are employees of KleenUp, or are you facilitating them being their own business owners?
No service providers will be on our W-2. They are all on 1098.
Okay.
And the customers will receive 1099s, of course. So it's an Uber for cleaning. Not only the cleaners will join, but also in-home mom who now just relocated because she's in military now and in a different state and feels depressed, right? Or a single mother or a student or an immigrant who just moved into this country. Unlike Uber, you don't even need a driver's license or a car. All you need is cleaning supplies, and then you just walk into a place where we'll match you. 9% commission is all that we take from cleaner side.
Now, my wife is under the impression you have to clean your house before you hire her. Is that true?
We love customers like that. Yes.
So,
As a
like,
cleaner.
if you've got like a kitchen that's just wrecked from hosting an event or whatever, you know, based on what you had explained, it sounds like you could hire someone through KleenUp to come and just do that one room, no matter how messy it is.
Absolutely, that's the intent. A customer called recently on a turkey Thanksgiving Day, and she's like, "Dude, I'm pissed." I'm like, "Why? What happened?" My turkey blew up, and whatever happens, like, it's affecting the mood of my family, and I don't want to clean it, but I don't want to pay $300. I'm like, I wish KleenUp would be there. So, because right now we have to send someone, it's too much coordination, gas, and then the empty truck comes back on the way back. But if we can match someone who's available and vetted, and we can take care of that challenge right there and then mom is happy. If mom is happy, the whole family is happy. Turkey is gone for sure. Fast food is coming in, but still, everyone is smiling.
So you mentioned, Sarah, what's the vetting process
you are.
that you do for the? I'm sorry, I'm Chris. I'm Visual Systems,
Hi, Chris.
one of the tech people. Yeah. So what do you do to vet? How do you
Background
vet?
check?
Yeah, you just do a Maryland state.
Yes, federal, state background, and then criminal sex offender database.
Mhm.
So we run through them, those databases. And then we also have insurance, and then the marketplace will be able to review one another as well. For example, when I was alone and single, I didn't care who would come to my house. I could pull the trigger, get the cheapest guy while I'm there. But if I'm sending cleaning to my mother, who's elderly, then I would want to send someone who's probably better ranked and has more insurance, and then I'm willing to pay a little more. And this is the only platform where now cleaners will be able to review the customers as well. So not all of the customers are really nice, because sometimes we just go into a place and the customer is pain in the butt. And next time when the job is dispatched, cleaner will be able to see it and decide whether I take it, neglect it, or I add up a pain in the butt fee. So it's up to the cleaner.
Graham, don't mention your wife.
No, she's a good No, she's a good one. She cleans the house before the cleaner comes in.
Yes.
Don't clean before you clean up. All right, any other questions?
Yes, Scott Singleton from Carroll County Workforce Development.
Hi,
Hi, how are you? So in hiring all the folks that you are hiring, how would you go about the training, the consistency for your brand? Because it's a lot of different people and different levels of service.
Yes.
So what kind of training are you going to put into this?
Absolutely. Thanks for asking the question. We will have the videos, the presentations, what they need to do, how to clean, the proper cleaning techniques, and that's pretty much how. And then the marketplace will be able to regulate the cleaner quality as well. And funny you mentioned about the workforce development. Workforce development. When I was with Scott at Anne Arundel County, he said this could be looked as a bridge job as well, which is when someone lost their job and looking for something else, and they need some income to keep the self-esteem and income coming in, then could be looked as a bridge job. So if your county is interested, then we'd be more than happy to talk to you. Yes.
Who sets the prices for the cleaning? Is it can people negotiate between themselves, or is it like standard pricing?
We are controlling as little as we can because we're trying to create democratized marketplace. We will have this minimums and maximums set which are unrealistic for the marketplace. But besides, the cleaners will set their own rates, and according to our projections, they'll be able to get 50 to 60% more. We will encourage cleaners when they join our platform to start a little low, to beef up their profile and start raising their rates as their availability will become limited. One of the other advantages now, cleaners will be able to also travel or reunite with their families, go to different states, and just open up their profile and their schedule and start making money while they're enjoying their family reunions.
So I think I came in late, kid on the bus, the whole thing. One more Wednesday, and I won't be late anymore. I'm a realtor, and I think that this is would be really awesome for you to connect with some brokerages. Something that I think that our brokerage might be interested in. Like I said, I'll have to watch the video to see how far you are in, because before I present something to my broker, I always, make sure that, but I think it would be ideal for people who are selling their houses, for even prior to selling, for after they move out, or the new people when they move in, to arrange to have, someone come in. And one of the things that I've been considering is gifting my buyers cleaning of the house before they move in.
That's a great idea.
And I would love to, partner, with that with you.
Absolutely. We're in the seed round. Our tech is being developed. So we'll launch in MSA Baltimore, hopefully Q4 that's what we're shooting up this year.
Great.
And I, totally agree with you. When we sold the houses that we flipped as well in Baltimore metropolitan area, not only move in, move out cleans and post-construction cleans that you might need, but also between the showings. You know what happens? You have showings, winter, people come in, and you don't want to pay that hefty fee for the whole thing. All you need just a little bit of tidying up, and this is one will be helpful as well for real estate agents.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
All right. Well, we always. Does anybody else have a question? All right. We always end with the questions. What can we as a community here in Westminster do to help you with cleanup?
To get to the next level.
And is that referrals? Is it sharing information about you guys on social media, following you on social media, that kind of stuff?
Yeah. We're pretty much open book. Anywhere you feel like your energy will help us to get to our next level, we would appreciate that. Connections, your time, your investments, your connections with the tech partners, spreading the word, anything at this point. We're a tiny little baby company with an intent to make life easier for cleaners, cheaper for homeowners, and serve 1 billion+ people.
Great job. Thank you very much. All right, so let's take a couple minutes to reset, and then I'll introduce our next speaker, David Sherwood. But go ahead and grab some more coffee or baked goods from the back here, and then we'll have David up here in about 5 minutes.
I think you were mentioning Scott Wall.
Yes.
I'm thinking about recruiting and
I like that.
ideas for you maybe.
Oh, amazing. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so I'll get in touch with you.
Yeah, Scott Wallace was amazing. We had lunch with him.
Oh, good.
And he was extremely helpful.
Yes.
Especially throughout the COVID process. He's like, hey, look at Instagram. What are you guys doing with this? And then help me see people for the opportunity. So it's amazing.
Yeah, sounds like there's a lot of opportunities. So I'll get in touch with you, follow up with you. To watch the replay, because I missed the start of it.
Yeah, it was fun having a FaceTime video.
One of my clients, it just seems funny. One of my clients is really cool. Kind of like,
Great.
so it's like kind of related, and I didn't realize if you had thought about that, because I know cleaners, like, just coming in here and cleaning up, but the two are so related, and they do a lot of, like client, situations where there's just so much that needs to go out. So anyway, I just thought I'd mention that that would be like an add-on service or something where you could get some of those people that have the trucks and they have the equipment to be able to deal with the
That's really good. It's really good that you mentioned that. We were thinking about our industries can utilize our intellectual property. And any industry that needs ASAP service and on demand. And with the jungle products, right? Like foreclosure, get something out, or someone is the husband is pissed because the basement or wife is pissed, basement is plugged, right? Get rid of this. But also in-home moms that medical equipment, like somebody falls in and they need like a caster or whatever it needs to be dropped off. The plumbers when your plumbing is leaking immediately, because if you don't address it now,
right, and a lot of people in those industries, yeah, this would definitely be good. I have a marketing agency and I help the small small-based businesses, you know, get leads. And so this is kind of an alternative way to do it without having
Agreed.
to do all that work themselves.
No,
Yes. We cleaners don't like that. We clean, right? We don't sell, market, we don't collect payments, we're not in charge of contracts, and etc. We don't need a system, we just click. If you tell us, say you 9% business, and then I'm able to charge $25 as opposed to additional company pension. We bring the concept of win-win for service providers, for customers, and for us.
Yes.
Thank you. Grab some coffee.
Oh, okay. Here we have a couple signs.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, you have a fantastic way of telling your story.
I had my best friend live.
Thank you.
Hanging out.
Oh, come on. Yeah, so I did,
All right, let's get resettled for our next speaker.
I didn't get paid for what I was to do. That's why I want to agree.
Let's get resettled. Hopefully you filled up on coffee and baked goods, courtesy of Jeannie Bird and American Ice. Our next speaker is David Sherwood from Cognitive Science and Solutions in Eldersburg, right?
That's correct.
Come on up, David, and take it away.
Thank you. So Cognitive Science and Solutions, we specialize in artificial intelligence. Probably most of you have heard of that. It's become a big deal lately. The market for AI is enormous. You probably have already seen that. It's valued at about $500 million, $500 billion at this point in time, expected to quadruple to over $2 trillion in just a few years. And interestingly, I found on the web recently that PitchBook has brought the data to Fortune magazine that says that even startups, generative AI startups, their pre-money valuation is up to $90 million. So we're talking big bucks. This industry is just huge. There it is. Took a while. Computers are slow. Anyhow, some of you probably have been working with the newest AI that's come out lately, ChatGPT. I started working with it every day. It is amazing. It is so powerful. I use it for all kinds of things. But as powerful and as amazing as it is, you can't trust it. It lies constantly. Has anybody noticed that? So, for example, one of the things we claim with our technology, which I believe was totally unique, is we taught our AI technology how to multiply large numbers the way a person does. Well, you would think any kind of AI would be easy to teach it how to multiply. That's not true with today's AI. Today's AI is built on a technology called deep learning. You can't teach deep learning how to multiply large numbers. Isn't that amazing? We taught our technology how to do it. So I asked ChatGPT just a few weeks ago, can you multiply large numbers? First it said, no, I'm a large language model. I don't know anything about arithmetic. Next day I asked it again, can you multiply large numbers? I said, yes, absolutely. Give me a large number. So I gave it two large numbers. I said, give me the answer and show me step by step. How do you multiply? And it multiplied in the same way a person does. Longhand form, multiplying 2 digits at a time, putting the intermediate products in the correct rows and columns. Except every intermediate result was wrong. It multiplied wrong. And if you don't know to double check it, you'll look at the result and say, I'm going to believe it. Why wouldn't you believe when a computer says it can multiply? Why wouldn't you believe the answer? Right? But you double check it and you find it's wrong. And it didn't make a mistake. It must have made 10 mistakes. And once it told me it can't multiply, next day it said it can multiply. Completely unreliable. And Recently I heard another issue is that when it gives you information and it cites references for the information, it is inclined to invent references. So you might give a presentation and you're citing references that don't even exist. So that's the state of the art of today's AI. Amazingly powerful, completely untrustworthy. And that's why it's scary. So recently the White House stood up the President's Council of Science Advisors. They're looking to try to establish regulations on AI to try to combat the fear that's going on, get some kind of control over it. So you can see how much there's an incredible ripple effect of distrust. By the way, my company is going to provide a response to their request for information about how to begin to control AI better. You also see there's a lot of experts in AI saying either pause it or shut it down. They talk about the singularity where AI is going to take over. I don't really believe that. If it can't multiply, is it really going to take over? But still, there is a legitimate concern out there.
Sorry, I'm trying to. There you go. I think it disconnected for a second.
Okay, thank you. Did we skip a slide? Could you go back a slide, please? Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you. Continue. But there is a better way to do AI. When I started college, this is more than a few years ago, I had a question. How does memory work? I thought people knew. I thought biologists knew exactly how memory worked. So I read every book I could find in the library about the biology of memory. Found they don't really know. They've got theories. I thought their theories were not quite correct. So I started working on my own theory of how memory works, just a little bit different from the prevailing theory of how memory works. And after years of taking that theory and refining it and embellishing it with new ideas and so forth, I've ended up with a whole new model of how memory works. It's a better model than what deep learning, today's AI, is using. It is simpler, it is more powerful. It is really a foundation for a new kind of artificial intelligence. And I say that because AI is all about intelligence, and the seed of intelligence is memory. It's all about what does the AI system know. And in order to know something, you have to have memory, or for AI systems, they call it a knowledge base. What's a knowledge base? Knowledge base is analogous to a database. So with a database, you put information in rows and columns. You know, here's the employee name, next column, here's the employee's address. Knowledge base is like that, except it doesn't have to be structured. It can be just whatever information you find in a book, on the web, whatever. All of that information constitutes the knowledge base, and that's the brains of an AI system, is the knowledge base. And I realized that by developing a new model for memory, a better model for memory, I was developing an alternative foundation for artificial intelligence. So whereas I spent years focusing just on memory, later on I realized, no, what I'm really doing is building a new foundation for artificial intelligence. Excuse me, am I going backwards?
Yeah.
Yes.
The big button is forward.
All right. So today it's all about, can you trust the AI? We discussed a minute ago how today's AI, you can't trust it. The way they build knowledge bases today, the way deep learning, the foundational principle for today's AI, built a knowledge base, is completely untrustworthy. What makes it so untrustworthy is you can't look inside the knowledge base to see what it knows. Isn't that kind of scary? So it's sort of like you've built a palace on a house of cards. And all the different problems that we're talking about that make today's AI so risky, all of it traces back to their model of memory and the fact that they build a knowledge base where you can't see what's inside the knowledge base. You don't know what it learned. You know what you trained it on, but you don't know what it learned from the training. And that is the fundamental flaw of today's AI.
The large black button should be.
Oh, okay. I've been doing wrong black. Okay. All right. So today's AI, they call it a black box because the brains of it, the knowledge base, you can't look into it. In fact, the knowledge base is so opaque that I think a lot of experts in the AI industry would say it isn't even a knowledge base. It's just 200 billion synaptic weights. Is that a knowledge base? Well, certainly not in any traditional sense. But still, that's where it stores its knowledge, is in 200 billion weights. And there's no way to look inside that to see what does it know. And if you see an error, there's no way you could fix it. Because we have a different model of memory. We have a different kind of a knowledge base. And our knowledge base is completely transparent. You can look inside the knowledge base. You can inventory exactly what's there. You can count how many things it's learned. And if you find an error, you can go in and modify it. Completely different technology. And that's what makes it so powerful. And that's why this is an alternative foundation for a new future of AI. I built a team to help me grow this. I'm a good engineer. I know nothing about business and so forth. So I've surrounded myself by other people to help out. But my background is in physics. That was my training. Spent a career working as a systems engineer in electronic warfare and signals intelligence. So my strength really is in engineering, number crunching, designing computers, algorithms, digital signal processing, that kind of stuff. I have a chief operating officer, Sam Bedwell, fantastic guy. He's got degrees of law and biology, and he's got experience with nonprofit startups. We also have Tom. He's my software lead. Tom has actually developed and sold AI systems using the previous generation of technology called AI expert systems. So Tom has a lot of experience with that. So successfully, he's even licensed some of his expert systems to customers. I've got a chief financial officer. I've got several other software engineers on the team working with me, advising. Got a handful of other software engineers just waiting for me to get in some funding because they want to join the team. They want to start developing this technology with me. I've got a handful of business advisors on the team also. So what have we got? Give you kind of the big picture. We've got a new kind of a knowledge base. We've got a new kind of technology. We've got a patent on a new kind of computer chip. The chip is not necessary to process our technology. You can do it on a laptop. But if you're doing this on an industrial scale, if you're doing this for really massive amounts of knowledge bases and you need to do it in real time, you'll want this kind of computer chip. And the computer chip, I think, fits in really well with your idea of what is a Silicon Main Street here. Things are a great tie-in. The computer chip is a different kind of process. Normally in computer architectures, we store and process data in 64-bit words. The design of this uses 64,000-bit words. You ask a computer scientist, is that a good idea to have words, very long data words, 64,000 bits? He would say no. What are you going to do with 64,000 bits? What number are you going to put in a computer word that's 64,000 bits long? The answer is we don't put numbers in there. We put the state of an entire artificial neural network in there. On each tick of the clock, each computer instruction, we process the state of an entire neural network. And it can be done easily with today's semiconductor manufacturing technology. The algorithms that we use to encode the knowledge in the neural networks, it's hard to patent algorithms, but we're working with a patent attorney that knows how to do that. So we're in the process of getting a second patent to protect the algorithms. We've got more than a dozen demos that prove the technology works as intended. I've published papers on AI, neural networks, computer architecture, and so forth. And we've got some trademarks. Where are we headed? We're trying to take the demos and the IP that we've developed and turn that into commercial products that we can license. So here we are today with Rube Goldberg kind of technology demos that prove to us that technology works as intended. And now we're going to go through a series of commercial products, each one of increasing sophistication. We're going to start with a fairly easy to develop commercial product, license it, use the funds from that to develop the next generation and the next, where each generation becomes more powerful, has a wider scope. So what is it we need? Mentoring. Well, what kind of mentoring do we need? You know the old saying, you don't know what you don't know. That's our problem. I've got a lot of great people working with me, but we don't know all of this. Nobody on my team has gone through a for-profit startup process before. We don't know what we don't know. It'd be good to be working with somebody that knows the ins and outs and gone through this before. Of course, we need financing. I need to convert from, like I said, from demos and technology to products we can license. It's going to take some funding to do that. And looking for networking to meet more potential customers. So recap. There's an enormous market for AI. You probably already know that. And we've got the solution to today's Achilles heel with AI, with today's AI technology. I'm not asking you to take my word for it. We can prove this. I can't do it in a 6-minute presentation. I'm sure I already blew that too. We met with DARPA last month. DARPA started to talk to us, gave them a similar pitch about our technology and so forth. And their response, of course, was, prove it. Show me the evidence behind your claims that your technology is so superior. Our response was a 17-page document to them detailing all the evidence to support our claims that we have superior technology, that our knowledge bases are transparent. And that's not the only IP we have. I didn't want to give you all the details here. I'm sure some of you are already kind of bored to death with technical talk. But we have a lot more IP behind it. It's not just the computer chip. It's not just these algorithms. There's a lot more. But now it's time to stop talking and to translate our IP into products that we can sell and begin to capture a small piece of that $2 trillion market. Questions?
All right, who wants to kick us off with a question for David? Yes, Chris.
Yes, Chris from Visual Systems. I've tried playing with not AI but other things. I'm a technical person as well. But how do you I find with technology and all that, also talking to other people, as you mentioned earlier, you start talking technology, their eyes glaze over, and you're like, what's going on? So, how are you going to translate your technology into it seems like you have interesting technology, but you don't have a product that you're using it for. It's like, a horse without a carriage or whatever. So, how are you going to translate, your AI into? Because let's say your eye, you want to be a basket weaver. Okay, I now made AI to make baskets. Well, nobody wants baskets. But your AI is still really good, but the product you're producing is something that nobody wants. So how are you going to, address that?
The answer is our first product will focus on a known marketplace called predictive analytics.
Yeah.
Predictive analytics, you see that all over the place under more familiar terms, such as sales recommendation systems, demand forecasting, diagnostic systems, and so forth. We've already started working with a potential customer, amazingly enough, in the petroleum industry. They've given us years worth of historical data with the question, can we use our technology to predict a chemical parameter called the cloud point temperature? And we demonstrated that our technology can predict the cloud point temperature with much more ease than corresponding deep learning technologies. So we're pursuing that. But once again, this was a matter of predicting, making a prediction based upon historical data. So here was a customer that we weren't even pursuing. We happened to meet them by happenstance. Perfect fit. So I think that predictive analytics is the right way to start in. There's a huge market for that. And I think it's pretty easy to go from the technology we've developed including a demo for this one potential customer, into building that out into a product we can sell to many customers. Yes?
Is this something that, like, because the only AI that I work with intentionally is ChatGPT. So is this something that, like ChatGPT, that thing could be built on top of, but now the knowledge base is transparent, or is it not like that? Like, is it not a...
That's a great question. And I ask myself that question all the time. I believe that there is a possibility of fusing, coming with a hybrid technology. You know, with ChatGPT is based upon deep learning. Mm-hmm. And deep learning uses layers of neural networks. I believe you can take our technology, the guts of which is called elastic representation, to begin inserting elastic representation between some of those layers.
Okay.
And that would be an alternative approach here. And maybe something that DARPA or other government agencies might be interested in some experiments on. So the question is right on. The answer is, I don't know. We'd have to try some experiments to see if it could work. But it's a good thing to consider. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Any other questions for David?
Yes, sir.
Are there any other competitors that you are head to head with that are following your path and saying, we're not going with deep learning, we're going to go with some other different system to develop this technology?
There are some, not a whole lot, but there are some. I've not been able to get into the details of what their technology is, but I know there are a few others out there that are struggling to fight the tidal wave of deep learning where everybody's on the same page doing the same kind of a thing. Yes, there are some companies out there trying to fight that trend. Groupthink, that's the phrase I was looking for. Yes.
Is it fair to say that different AI could learn differently? So, in terms of characterizing something like ChatGPT versus cognitive science solutions, is that your solution, can you, in a marketing kind of speak, you just say that it learns differently, just the way people learn differently? And maybe some people are better suited for certain tasks than others based on how they're able to learn differently?
So yes, our technology does learn differently. One of the big differences is a phrase you say in this industry called single-shot learning. Let's take a database, an Oracle database, for example. You enter, here's a new employee, here's the name, here's the address, and so forth. You expect to enter that data once, and just once. Imagine if you enter the data today, and tomorrow you go in that database and you find, well, it's gone. You got to enter it again. That's how deep learning works. You've heard about these enormous training regimens they go through to train deep learning to learn, because the data doesn't generally stick the first time you put it in its knowledge base. You got to repeat it over and over and over. The opposite of that is single-shot learning, which is what happens with a database and what our technology does too. So yes, fundamentally it learns differently, which is a huge advantage. It's another reason to trust the knowledge base, our kind of a knowledge base, because if it sees it once, it's in there. With the alternative with deep learning, you could show it the data 100 times and you still can't be positive it's in there. Great question. Yes?
What kind of legal, because it's so powerful, if your technology ended up in someone's hands, this is true for all AI, and it ended up in someone's hands that's just, shouldn't have it. Shouldn't have that kind of power and knowledge and ability and capability. How do you reconcile that? It's kind of a deep question, but...
I think the question you're asking is a great question. I think the problem is analogous to what we already have today, the concerns we already have today, but with people. So I worked in the intelligence community, where you've got everything is stamped, it's unclassified, it's confidential, it's top secret special access, and so forth, and everybody is vetted, and you control all that information. Mm-hmm. That's how we do with people. That's what we need to do with AI. Mm-hmm. But how can you do that with AI when you don't know what's in the knowledge base? Mm-hmm. So great question. Thank you. Yes.
As far as what you're trying to do, or where you're trying to go, have you talked to private equity groups? Because this is an this is a significant amount of funding that you need to get there, and in a fast pace, right? You're competing with so many others right now.
That's
That's right.
changing, that's
Yeah.
constantly changing.
So,
We've just started talking to private equity groups. I've been trying to go slow because I want to see what I can do locally here first. But some overseas equity groups have approached us to see if we're interested. And I wouldn't say no to them, but they're not my first choice. I'd rather work locally. In terms of the amount of financing we need, I'm not looking for vast sums, at least not initially. I'm looking for about $500,000 to produce our first product. I'll need a couple of $1 million after that, unless the product sells as well as I hope, in which case it could be self-funding.
I think with my mind, with the valuation so high as you started out, this is an opportune time to get significant funding at a pretty favorable valuation.
You're exactly right in that it represents my thought process. But I'm not good at getting the word out that we even exist and that we have an alternative to what you see with today's AI. Maybe that's something that you could help me with. I struggle to get the word out through press releases and so forth, and not done well on it.
And that's our last question is, what can we do to help you?
Like I said on the previous slide, mentoring, help us with financing and networking. One of the ways in which we try to get the word out is through press releases. I'm still trying to get out a press release. We were awarded a patent 2 months ago for a new kind of computing chip. I think that's newsworthy. I think that would bring us some attention. We're trying to get a press release out on it, but we're amateurs at that. Maybe some people here have more skills in that area.
Magic can help you with the press release, get that out.
Good.
Sure. And then also, Johns Hopkins has a chapter of NSF's Innovation Core that I think would be good for you, because it helps you go through the whole process of validating all your assumptions about the marketplace.
Great.
Provide some leadership, and then there's an opportunity to get funding through that as well. So I'll tell you more about that.
Good. But like I said, one of our biggest problems is we don't know what we don't know. And that's why the mentoring would come in handy. I'm trying to make the right decisions. My advisors are doing the best they can. But we discovered too many things by accident late in the game. It'd be good if we had mentors that had more familiarity that could say, don't wait until you discover this a year from now. Here's what you should be doing today. Such as just what you were talking about. Maybe now is the right time to go and seek private equity and so forth.
May I shove in a question?
Yes.
So we are on GPT 5 now, right? And
I'm still using GPT 3.5, but yes, it's out there.
an army of people training them.
Yes.
The fear is when the GPT will, the AI will start training itself.
Yes.
Then it's going to be enormous leap, because now AI is training AI. By the time you get in the game, how do you intend to catch up?
By the time we get in the
We have
game,
less than 10 minutes.
by the time we get in the game, they may have stopped with these generative AI models because there is so much concern. So if AI being trained by humans gives you a result that is untrustworthy, how could the AI that's trained by AI, how untrustworthy is that going to be?
Orders of magnitude.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just for the, yeah.
Yes.
All right, let's give David a round of applause. All right, Vicky, do you want to send us out?
Should have sat closer. Sorry about that. Thank you so much, David and John, for your presentations today. Those were fantastic. Thank you, everyone, for coming today. So great to see all of the new faces as well as the familiar faces. We are 1 Million Cups Westminster. We meet here every Wednesday at 9 a.m. I believe we're going to take a short summer break for the month of June, so we will be back in July, and hopefully everybody is revitalized, has a nice rest. Thank you to our community sponsors, Magic, for hosting us, as well as our sister location at Startup Portal, and our fantastic refreshment sponsors, American Ice Co. Cafe for the coffee and Jeannie Bird for the pastries.
If you are interested in presenting, we would love to have you. Please go to 1millioncups.com/Westminster and click apply to present. And I will send us out, as always, with, I think Tina Thomas should probably patent this, well, not patent, but, trademark this phrase. Sometimes we have one presenter, sometimes we have two. Next time it could be you. So please apply to present, and we'll see you in July.
The name, 1 million.